Hi, welcome to You, Me and Mediumship. So I was asked a question, and here is a very brief overview of the answer. It was to do with what is spirit world like, and do we have things in spirit world like we have things here? And I guess what that means is belongings, material things. Or is the world, or can the world, spirit world, be very similar in a place to be as the earth plane? Well, it's a very, very complex question, really. A good question, but very complex. So that's why I'm just going to briefly run over it now. And like I said, I'll spend a bit more time going to a bit more depth on Patreon. So the biggest mistake we make, and we all do it, is we see things through the human mind, and we imagine things using our minds. The first rule, really, is to not do that. We need to look at things more in a spiritual way and try and understand them in a spirit being way rather than a human way. So when we say world, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is a place similar to this. Well, it's not similar to this in any way, shape or form. You may well experience a similar environment early on. When you first pass, this again, like I said, it's quite complex. This relates to the soul age, its experiences. So Spirit put it in a nutshell, really, for me once when I was actually working with a very similar question. And they said that a soul, when passed, will find itself in a place where it feels at home. And this relates to this soul's age and experience. So if I try and make that more clear, most of you, I would guess, would probably have worked that out already, what that answer means. But just in case you haven't, then an old soul would fully and totally understand where it has passed to when it becomes awakened within the plane that it is at home in. It would immediately understand where it was. A young soul, say, went to a plane well above its understanding, then obviously it wouldn't have a clue where it was. It wouldn't understand what's happened. It would be lost. So in order for a soul to be able to feel at home, to know what's happened, to know where it is, to understand the next stage of its journey, it would need to be at a level it totally can absorb. So for a very young soul, the chances are, so this will kind of answer a bit of the question, chances are it would be an environment which it would recognize. So a young soul could well pass into surroundings very similar to what it's just left behind. But this would be temporary. This would not be for good. Okay? So the whole reason of this crazy life of ours is to progress. So progressing into an environment that was similar to this, well, it simply wouldn't be progression. So a young soul would be placed there and would understand after a while what had happened to it, where it was, and what the next stage of its journey would be. Now, energies are no different. Souls and energies are no different to us. They are beings. Okay? They are spiritual beings. And like us, there are parts of this journey that they too cannot comprehend. And I've had one or two statements similar to what I've just said made to me through spirit. We are aware of the higher realms. We are totally aware of the higher realms. We can only give a vague description of those as it is beyond our comprehension. So like spirit world and areas of spirituality are beyond our comprehension whilst in the body, it is similar for souls that have passed, who are young souls, who have very little knowledge and experience. So it's an ongoing journey of learning. So we get messages, and you hear it all the time, from Grandad, still got his toolbox, still doing a bit of plumbing. You know, he's building a house for Grandma for when she comes over. Now, that is entirely up to you how you wish to take that. Okay? Personally, that soul, I do not believe, would pass that message on. If you wish to experience anything in spirit that you experienced here on this plane, then it is possible to experience that, because just a thought there is enough to create. So if there's something you really miss, and I'm not talking necessarily another person, but if there is something that you thoroughly enjoyed, like walking through the countryside, walking along the coast, if there was something like that you thoroughly enjoyed, and it gave you that wonderful fulfillment inside, then you can experience that as energy, because you can create that, you can recreate it. So if a soul early on its passing wishes to recreate that, it can do so. And it can walk that coastline, it can walk that country path. So the spirit world is a very, very, very complex place, and with the different realms, and all, basically it's a journey from here through the realms as we draw ourselves closer to the source of all that is. But there are, like I said, a number of realms that we will experience, we will need to work our way through, and, like I said, make our way towards that source of all that is. So that's it basically in a nutshell. So spirit world is energy, and we are part of that energy, and we will become part of that spirit world, just like we are part of the source here, the same source. It's no different when we pass over. We are still part of that same source, the Great Spirit, all that is. Nothing changes. That will stay the same. If people ask, well, do we meet up with loved ones? Yes, of course we do. We do not see them in the physical body. Now, no one's going to say we've got the same shirt on, and no one's going to say that. We will experience them through energy. We will recognize that energy. There will be no need for us to see that loved one in a physical form. And it's been said over the years, when we pass, souls are, we go to hospital to get well. There's nothing to get well. We've got the illness that we pass with does not go with us. Okay, we don't take it with us. So we don't go to hospital or anything like that. Okay, we are gradually drawn into that realm. There are loved ones that will help us and guide us into that realm, depending on the age of that soul. And in repeating myself, but just to make it clear, an old soul will know its home. It will recognize it immediately. So a younger soul will need guidance initially, but it may well find itself, in, like I said, in an environment very similar to this. And that is really just to soften the blow, if you like. It's just so you can be eased into death, if you like, into passing. And that's why with some near-death experiences, that's why a lot of them are very similar. That's why, I'm not saying that we don't see a light. We may well see that light. I believe we do, to be honest. We do see our loved ones. They will help us. They'll be there for us and guide us through. So depending on the age of that energy, the age and experience of that soul will depend where it finds itself once it has passed. Many people talk of green fields. They find themselves walking through a green field. That is created by self. Okay, it's not a material object, this field. It is created by self. It is created for you as well. It's all there just to ease you into the next realm. So there's no mistakes. You don't find yourself in the wrong one. Okay, that won't happen. So you will be at home when you pass. What realm that will be, I can't tell you that. All I know is what the energies can tell me, and that is a very brief description of what I've been told. I'll go into a lot more depth on Patreon and talk about other realms, the higher realms, and hopefully that's helped answer the question a bit. So please like and subscribe to my channel. Please go over to Patreon. I'll get a deeper version of this on there over the next few days. And I hope to see you there, and I hope to see you again here very soon. So take care. Have a great evening.